The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Okay, just 4 minutes away from Fall Out Boy, your chance to get that trip to L.A. to see Fall Out Boy, trip for two, and a $100 Visa gift card just for qualifying from our great friends at Bettenhausen Automotive. So stay here just a few minutes. Now, you just heard Gil Curtis talking about the Oscars in his headlines, and it's really permeated almost every one of my timelines about the snub that Barbie got. So, Ryan Gosling got nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but director Greta Gerwig and the star, Margot Robbie, did not get even nominated. Now, I didn't see it, so I'm not like judging any way at all. And people that have seen it would probably say, I assume Margot Robbie at least, being the star, the famous big face, she was Barbie.
Well, what's interesting is it seems like other people are arguing about this. Shocker. Hello. They're arguing on social media about it. It seems like other women from the Barbie movie were nominated.
America Ferrera was, as a supporting actress.
As a supporting actress.
Okay,
so
it's not sexist is what you're saying, because one of the actors...
Well,
here's
where
sexism.
What's up?
We actually solved sexism with this movie. Everything's good.
Yes, absolutely.
God, thank God.
What is interesting is that it's like, you can look at this two ways. Like, some people are like, well, how can it be sexist when there's the Best Actress category? So other women are being nominated. That's what some people are saying, right? So it's not like the overall, like, actor and actress is one category and only men were nominated from the movie. So that's one side of the argument, right?
Yep.
The other side of the argument is this is exactly what the movie is. We're like, you're like, this was a great movie. It must be because of him, you know? It's like, so you're not like acknowledging it, right? So those are the two sides of the argument. I could see both sides. Like, it is true where he didn't take her place for nomination because it's for the Best Actress category. So I understand that.
Yeah.
But it is kind of what the movie is about. Like, I mean, Greta Gerwig, like, you know, wrote the most popular movie of the year. Like, that's kind of crazy to not have that nomination. And then, you know, Margot Robbie obviously did a phenomenal job in it. This movie was huge, but this isn't the first time. Like, wasn't Leonardo DiCaprio not nominated for Titanic?
Correct. There's been a lot of huge Oscar snubs, and this one's taking center
I think
stage
they
for what
do
you're
it
pointing out.
sometimes. I'm a conspiracy theorist a little bit.
Uh-oh.
I think they always snub somebody from a big movie
To get it talked about?
To get the press. Because everyone's
Yeah.
like, what? Who won instead? Who's nominated instead? It starts to debate. If everybody that you thought should be nominated gets nominated, and then exactly the popular opinion wins, where's the conversation?
Well, let me give you an example, just looking at Oscar snubs in history. So our guy, John Hughes, who made, even from Detroit, originally born, but grew up in Chicago and made all those movies about Chicago, the old classics, The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, so good.
National Lampoon's Vacation, Home Alone. None of those movies got one nomination.
But does that surprise you? Because the Oscars, the Academy has a certain tone and style that they like.
Snooty?
You know? Well, it's called Oscar bait movies. You know, there are movies that bait the Oscars into thinking that they're deep and mystical and that they're saying something about society. And Barbie was all of those things. Because I watched Barbie, I really liked it.
Yeah.
I'm way more stunned that Greta Gerwig was not nominated for Best Director than Margot Robbie not for Best Actress. But there was a certain level of popularity and sheen to Barbie that makes it, to me, not surprising at all that they were snubbed from those two categories. I do want to mention, the movie wasn't entirely shut out. They have 8 different nominations across different categories. America Ferrera, like I said, Best Supporting Actress, she's nominated for that.
It's nominated for Best Picture.
Exactly, the movie's nominated for Best Picture, whereas Iron Claw, which I've raved about.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Not nominated at all.
Tell us about, what's Iron Claw, the wrestling movie?
It's about
When did that come out?
It came out in December, so it's eligible for all of these awards. I just looked this up.
I was thinking that came out at the beginning of January.
No,
I'm
no,
like,
no.
whoa, okay.
Yeah, calm down.
I'm like, it's not its year. Not its year.
Settle down, bitch.
It is its year, and it's a shame because I saw both movies. I enjoyed both movies, but there was a certain level of gravitas and emotional depth to Iron Claw that for as good as Barbie was, Iron Claw was just the better movie.
Okay.
That's my argument.
Well, how about Top Gun Maverick?
No, I
Also
never
made
saw
$1 billion like
Did that
Barbie.
come out this past year?
I think actually that was the year before.
All right.
Yeah,
so
I was
let's
gonna say I
settle
don't think that's
down.
this year's.
Well, sometimes the movies come out and they get lumped into the next year.
That was a summer blockbuster. That was very specifically in a certain time frame to get nominated.
I'm not good with time.
And are you sure, Case? I have to say, are you sure Iron Claw
Positive.
is eligible
Positive. I looked
for
it
this
up.
one?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
they do have very odd rules. For example, because I'm part of like the Emmy submissions, right?
Heyo.
Hey,
Whoa.
two-time winner. No kidding. But anyway,
What?
but when when you have to sit down and do the paperwork, like for your show or your nominate, like there's stuff that goes along with it. And when we do the paperwork for the TV show that I host on Marquee, the MVP game that like my husband and I co-created and co-host, even though we aired 6 months before the year was over, it wasn't enough time. Like we had to wait for the following year to be nominated. So there is some weird rules. So that's why we wanted to.
Now, Chad checked in on the text line, said Iron Claw was fantastic. It is the next ultimate guy cry movie.
Absolutely.
Did you cry?
Oh my God, yeah.
So you cried through the whole thing?
No, I didn't cry through the whole thing. But I'll say this, Brian. If you went and saw Iron Claw and you didn't cry, I think there's something wrong with you. I think because you especially, you're a steel box of emotion. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. You're allegedly unfazed by everything. You've had massive life changes over the last 4 years. You don't show a single drop of emotion ever. You're just, I compartmentalize it. I just keep on going. I got to pay the bills. If you wouldn't cry during that movie, there would be something wrong with you.
Well, I cry when they pick up Rudy off the field in Rudy. When they pick him up at the end after he makes the tackle. Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah, Rudy gets me, yeah.
You know what the weirdest movie
And
I've
I
ever
don't
cried
like
at?
Notre Dame either. Like, I'm a Michigan fan.
If you have a Notre Dame backpack, you cry during Rudy. It sounds like you're one of the Fighting Irish.
I got a free backpack that's really nice, has Notre Dame on it. I got to figure out a way to patch it up.
The first time I ever lost it at a movie, like cried, lost it at a movie, this is so bad, was King Kong when he falls off the tower. Because I thought it was so mean. They take this monkey out of his home and then they just torture him. He's terrified.
Oh,
and then they
no.
just shoot him down. And I thought it was the meanest, like, animal cruelty ever. Like, he was minding his business in
Lord.
the jungle, okay? That is while he's tall.
Oh, God.
Pete has been noticeably quiet about the King Kong treatment. It really makes you wonder what
They
their
were
agenda is.
so mean to him, especially in, like, not the new one, but the one with the Nicole Kidman knockoff. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I was trying to figure. I was
Okay.
going to ask you what King Kong movie you saw that made you
That
cry.
was the one, like, I thought it was so mean because remember they put him in a theater, like they were trying to do a play with him?
Yeah.
And he thought it was the Nicole Kidman knockoff and he got all excited and then it was a different girl. She starts yelling in his face and I'm like, leave him alone. He's very confused.
Poor monkey or gorilla.
I sat there and cried. We couldn't leave the theater.
How old were you?
Oh my God.
25. It was
It had
last
to be
week.
It had to be like six-ish. Like six. That's hard to say.
Yeah.
Sixth grade. Six-ish.
What movie gets you? What movie? Listeners can join in on us. What movie gets you crying?
Oh, it was horrible.
Let's
So
get
mean.
let's get into let's do it. GTFO. Let's go.
Q101 WKQX WKQX HD1 Chicago, a Cumulus media station.
Now is your chance to GTFO with a shot at a $100 Visa gift card and be qualified for a trip for two to see a hot band in a warm weather climate. GTFO. Message and data rates apply. Please don't text and drive.
Q101.
Okay, Fallout Boy in Los Angeles sounds amazing right now. Trip for two, and you'll get a $100 Visa gift card just for qualifying. Text STUMP, as in the singer's name, Patrick Stump, 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 to 312-591-8300. Text it right now, and that's your chance to get to Los Angeles to see our guys, Fallout Boy, from Brian and Kenzie, and Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew. Sports.
Well, the news broke here with Brian and Kenzie on Q101, but it's now official. The Chicago Bears have signed offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, and he was the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator, where they finished in the middle of the pack. You know, average to good every year during his 3-year tenure. He got Geno Smith, though, to be the AP Comeback Player of the Year, a guy who was just kind of a fill-in quarterback and didn't have a really great career anywhere, bounced around and ended up there. So maybe he can do that with Justin Fields and make him, well, I guess he wouldn't be a comeback player. He'd just be a good player.
I would take good player. I don't need to get technical with it. If we can all agree that he's good, that would be a win.
Well, as I've said during the whole season, I've never been more confused about a player. Sometimes he looks like he's the best player in the NFL, better than Tom Brady, and sometimes he looks like he's not even Rex
Better
Grossman.
than Tom Brady.
Can I ask you
Yes, he
something
does.
that's going to make you judge me?
Okay. Well, everything does, by the way.
I know.
Everything you say.
I know you hate me. Brian spits on me in between dog breaks.
Okay, that's
He
excessive.
always spits on me.
Very excessive.
My question is, if someone's that good at like football, like that good at being a quarterback, right?
Right.
What can a coach do? Like, oh, this coach made him a winner. Like, and that's genuine. Like, what can he? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is he gonna do? He just has better pep talks than the other coach, or like, what happens?
Well, I will say this, and I'm not judging you. That's a very fair question because talent just. If you're that good and you make your way to the NFL, you have beat out, millions of people literally in the country. The thing is, the quarterback position is the most important position in all of sports. I don't care what sport you choose. It is the most important position of guiding everything that decides whether your team wins or loses. And so it's a mental thing really at that point. So a coach that comes in, and you say pep talks is kind of that, but also the guidance. For example, look at Baker Mayfield. He bounced around Cleveland, and then did he go somewhere before Cleveland before he went to the Rams?
Baker went Cleveland, Los Angeles Rams, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And Baker.
and then he was in the Panthers too. But
that's right, Panthers for a minute too. And he went to these bad coaches. We're all around him. And then he got to the Rams around Sean McVay, and he played a little bit, but he's only there for a season, half a season, whatever. And Sean McVay said, "Hey, baby, you're money. You don't even know it." Don't believe all these other a-holes. You're good. Then he goes to Tampa, and he almost gets to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
So I think the coach does make a big difference in it, is what I'm trying to say.
And I want to say, I'm not saying they don't.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying,
like
you can either throw far or you can't. You know what I mean? Like that. Like the Waldron can come give me a pep talk. I'm not making it 40 yards. Like I don't know.
Case, can you book him when he gets to town?
I'll see what I can do.
And see if he can give Kenzie a pep talk to throw a football 50 yards.
And then see how far I throw it. After. We do a before and after, like how they do it like on infomercials.
I need help throwing a football too. It's one of my biggest insecurities as a man is that I can't throw a football.
Is that right?
Because you throw it differently than you throw a baseball. The arm slot.
Well, obviously.
No, that's not obvious.
Well, the Case's point is that he was a D3 prospect in baseball.
I had D3 potential.
But he missed his window.
But
my issue is I have very tiny hands, and I can't get up there for the spiral.
Yeah, you seem like you'd be the two-hand chucker where you'd bring both hands over your shoulder and then try to launch the ball.
It's not that. It's just that it's the only time it spirals is because I'm actually slipping, and it's just throwing it. It's really, it's so big. Like, can we just make this a little small?
Well, it's a little big. Yeah, but
that'd be a great experiment if they made the football just a little bit smaller for one season just to see what people could do with it.
There are those Nerf-sized ones that are a little smaller.
Yeah.
We'll see what Kenzie
can't wrap. I have freakishly small child hands, and I just can't do it.
I know the baby's about to pop here in about a week and a half, but can you head over to Walmart and buy yourself a Nerf football and film a video in the yard of you throwing it?
Sure, Brian.
That'd be great. On the way home today, that'd be great if you did that. Stop at Arby's, too, to give yourself a little treat.
Yeah, a little treat, something sweet.
Yeah.
Treat yourself to something real nice.
Bad news out of the Blackhawks, where Connor Bedard is now going to be about 8 weeks longer in the fractured jaw, as they've said these words, and I don't like these words, that the recovery involves bone setting. I don't like that.
What do you think that is?
Well, somebody's got to touch his jaw and move it in a slot. And then,
aren't they supposed to do that right after it breaks? You're not supposed to wait this long.
That's what
right?
I mean. It's been a minute. It happened 4 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
I feel like that would be bone moving. Bone setting, I think he just has to stay still for a while.
Ugh. God. I bet he's
How do you do that with a jaw? Is there a jaw cast? Like, what do they do? Do they wrap that? Oh, do they wrap stuff? Like, You know those old school when someone's like sick in bed and they have the gauze wrapped around their mouth and there's like a top knot on their head?
They used to do that in movies for like a toothache, remember?
Yeah, like is that like what it looks like though? Because like how do you cast that bad boy up?
Well, they've wired people's jaws shut. Remember that?
Yeah.
I know, Kanye.
But Kinsey, I think that's what a jaw cast is getting your jaw wired shut.
Oh, that's it?
I think so.
Oh.
That's
You should try
terrible.
the gauze thing.
I don't think that
And
really
tie it
works.
on top
Yeah.
and keep it nice and tight.
Have a little bow on top.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah,
good look.
because the wiring sounds very painful.
Ugh. Well, finally in sports, a lot of conversation, this big joke on social media that the NFL is scripted and people have evidence. There's a lot of really convincing videos that the NFL is scripted and everybody knows the results. It's like that. It's like wrestling. Knows what's going to happen. But this is pretty convincing. 3 years ago, the NFL started using colored logos for the Super Bowls. That would be the Rams-Bengals Super Bowl was the first one of it. And in the logos, it had the colors of the Bengals and the Rams. This came out way before the Super Bowl in 2021. So the logo featured the warm red, orange, and yellow tones at the SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Ended up being a Rams-Bengals Super Bowl. The next year, the colors were of the Eagles and the Chiefs, and they ended up in the Super Bowl. And then this year already, the Super Bowl logo is out. It has the colors of the 49ers and the Ravens, who are still ready to go and could be in the Super Bowl in
But
2
like,
weeks.
what do you mean? Like, maybe they just make a version with all the the last few teams left.
No. The Super Bowl logo kind of comes out beforehand, way before the playoffs even, this logo was out. So there was no way to know what teams were going to be in it. And the colors are represented that are almost what these teams left that could be in this. So basically saying...
what if different teams make it? So, the Super Bowl logo this year is the 49ers and what? The Ravens?
Yeah.
You said?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it ends up being the Lions
And the Chiefs.
Yep.
and the Chiefs, would they change the colors of the logo?
No, because they've spent millions of dollars on these logos.
That seems odd. You think you just go black and white with it or something?
Well, the conspiracy is that if it is the 49ers and the Ravens, it's the third year in a row that the logo has predicted the final teams in the Super Bowl and the NFL is scripted. If you believe that. If you
I don't
go
know.
with that.
Wouldn't it be so hard to script that, though? Don't you think?
Well,
And how would nobody have, really talked?
the best example of trying to fix things has been in basketball. There's been many games of point shaving scandals where players have either, missed shots. In football, you're right. How do you throw a game? I guess if you're a quarterback, the quarterback has to be involved. There's no question. You can't have
Right,
this.
but how would you get all those quarterbacks involved for all the teams and no one's ever said anything?
Well, because they're getting paid too handsomely by the NFL and the overlords.
Kinsey's asking very logical questions. This is whenever you get sucked into a conspiracy theory, you should ask, oh, everybody stayed quiet about this? Really? An entire network of people were able to not gossip about this? This is
Because
ridiculous.
when athletes cheat, these women are getting paid a lot of money too, and they always talk. So, just historically.
So if you can't keep the hose quiet, how you going to keep the quarterbacks quiet
That's
is what you're
I'm
saying.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Lauren's coming in, and another chance at Fall Out Boy in Los Angeles comes up at 11 a.m. GTFO, and then at 5 p.m. with Brian Phillips later on. So when you drive home, you got all chances all day long, and we'll have another chance tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Just put it on your phone right now. Takeaways from today's show. You guys text them in, and we read them. Case, what do you got?
312 checked in. They said, and we learned this in trivia today, Sylvester Stallone was the original voice of Yogi Bear.
Kenzie, how would that have sounded?
Hey, boo boo, get my picnic basket, eh? Come on. Okay,
what do you got?
Megan's takeaway.
Yeah.
This is a mouthful. Let me try to get this right. My takeaway is a rat with a mouth cast was trampled during a concert, causing the rat hole to be formed.
Exactly the genesis
It's a
of it.
great through line of our entire show today.
Yeah. And finally, Double Features Mike texted in. Takeaway. The word of the day is bastards. Bastards. Use that somehow today, the rest of the day, so tomorrow you can tell us how you used
Yeah,
bastards.
make us proud.
Should I play the Rat Hole song from Double Features again while we just mention them in the takeaways?
I'm not going to stop you.
Remember, miss a moment, miss a lot. Go to the podcast and check it out. But this is our guide to Double Features with a song about the rat hole.
Chicago rat hole, you left your mark in the city streets and in our hearts. Steamrolled in the pavement,
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.